This is Bobby C, and we begin our look at sports this week in White Plains, New York at Knicks Media Day as the orange and blue have gone ritzy with a brand new cast of faces looking to have some more wins here in 2016-17.
I don't think there's been this type of excitement surrounding our team since I've been here over the past couple years. Being in the gym, being around guys, talking to guys, the focus level is at an all-time high.
What makes this year's a little bit different is that I have a lot more options. I have shooters, and I could play through someone almost the entire game, and someone is mellow, or it could be KP. KP, he's been working his butt off too, but just having so many options, and I'm able to play the way that I normally know how to play.
Number one thing is for all of us to stay healthy. We had some history, players getting hurt, and then myself, I got hurt last season. We just got to make sure we get enough rest, and so we're ready for every game. And if we do that, then I don't see any other obstacles why we couldn't be a good team.
Well, I'm very excited to, first of all, be here in New York City, playing the Mecca, a new opportunity. I feel like it's like the beginning again for me. I feel like it's the second half of my career, and I want to make the best of it.
The Knicks will train once again in West Point this season. New Knicks head coach Jeff Hornacek continues to maintain at the club the triangle offense will be much faster paced this year. This season, citing plenty of explosiveness for point guard Derrick Rose in the early going. While Vegas sees the Knicks slightly improving, winning in the high 30s, odds makers forecast another difficult season for the Nets in Brooklyn with potential to be in the mid to low 20s. Only time will tell, of course. The preseason opens October 6th, and the Knicks and Nets will meet in the second game of the preseason at Madison Square Garden on October 8th. In the WNBA playoffs, the New York Liberty were upended in the first round by Phoenix and former UConn star Diana Taurasi. In the semis, it's Phoenix and Minnesota in the East and Chicago and LA out west. That first round one-game elimination is just so tough. The Jets and quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick went from the highs of Buffalo a week earlier on Thursday Night Football to the lows on Sunday in Kansas City, the rock bottom low. Fitz became the first signal caller since Tom Tupa in 1989 to register 6 interceptions and no touchdowns in a game. The Chiefs coasted to a 24-3 victory. The Jets are now 1-2. Gang Green has Seattle at home this Sunday. That game kicks at 1 p.m. I realize it's early in the campaign, but this could be a must-win for the Jets, who have Pittsburgh and Arizona next, both on the road. Seahawk QB Russell Wilson is banged up but says he'll play against the Jets. His health could be a factor on Sunday. The Jets had a meltdown in KC, and the Giants, well, they kind of did the same, just not in a low-scoring affair. Here's our Giants report. On an afternoon when Giants quarterback Eli Manning would throw for 350 yards against the rival Washington Redskins, it was 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles by the Big Blue quarterback that would be costly. Giants end up with double-digit penalties and an eventual 29-27 defeat to the Redskins.
Obviously, you come in and you're confident. You've been in this position before. You want to go out there and score for your team to win the game, as we've done in times before. But today wasn't our day.
We had a chance to go out there and win a game, get the 3-0, 2-0 in the division, and we didn't take advantage of the opportunity. We can't beat ourselves. You can't go out there and play against good teams and get penalties like that, and it showed. Clearly, no love lost in the Redskins locker room.
How much do the Giants bring the best out of you and the best out of this team?
Oh man, really, when it comes down to playing on the field, I've never been a guy that liked that team. It's just something about playing them, gets me heated up, gets me pumped up, and ready to go out there and torch them any way I can.
Those guys don't like us, and we don't like them, man. So every time we go out and play them guys, it's gonna be a fight, man. Hopefully we come out and win that fight, and we did today.
All the pregame talk centered around cornerback Josh Norman and last season's meltdown by Odell Beckham Jr. when Norman was in Carolina. Now in Washington, it was Norman who had the last laugh.
Can't ask nothing better than that. All the stuff in between that was show. At the end of the day, W all that matter. And man, I'm gonna be on this high for a while, so.
The G-Men are back in action Monday night in Minnesota on Monday Night Football. That game gets going at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. QB Sam Bradford and the Vikings are 3-0. So many fans made a fuss about Jets coverman Darrelle Revis in Week 1, but I said wide receiver A.J. Green is no joke. He was the man on Thursday Night Football last night. Green hauled in 10 passes for 173 yards and a touchdown as Cincinnati toppled Miami 22-7. College football fans have plenty to watch this weekend. 3 top 10 games on tap, including Stanford and Washington tonight, as well as weekend matchups between Wisconsin, Michigan, and Clemson, Louisville. Syracuse and Notre Dame are also meeting at MetLife on Saturday, although the Irish are off to a slow start and already out of national championship contention. Time for some quick hitters. The Yankees pretty much took their playoff hopes all the way down to the final weekend of the regular season, but after an amazing win over Boston on Wednesday night, the Pinstripers were eliminated on Thursday night despite a series sweep over the Sox. The Baltimore Orioles, which needed just one more win, defeated Toronto Thursday night. Had they not, it would have set up an awesome weekend this weekend in the Bronx with the O's and former manager Buck Showalter coming to town. The Red Sox, despite the loss, clinched a postseason berth at Yankee Stadium for the first time in history. It came on an evening when the Yankees honored longtime rival and nemesis David Ortiz. Ortiz will retire at the end of this season. The Yanks showed plenty of spirit after 2 tough weeks in September. That spirit was highlighted by a walk-off grand slam by the soon-to-be-retired Mark Teixeira on Wednesday night. He became the first Yankee to hit a walk-off grand slam against the Sox since Charlie Keller in 1942. Tim Tebow had his first batting practice home run last week and then decided to hit his first professional home run and his first professional at bat in the instructional league this week. Not bad for a guy that hasn't played baseball since high school. He followed that up by going 2 for 4 in a second game. Lots of road ahead for Tebow, but a nice story thus far for the former Heisman winner / NFL player turned baseball player. As for the parent club, the Amazons look bound for the postseason. They are starting to run away with the wild card. Jeurys Familia notched his 50th save and set the single-season mark for a Dominican-born pitcher. The Mets won 2 in a row against Miami and will be in Philadelphia this weekend. They sit atop the 2 wild cards in the National League, holding a 1-game advantage over San Francisco. The Giants get that second wild card if the season ended today. St. Louis is the only other team hanging around in the mix this weekend. UFC 205 looks like it will be awesome. Not only is the action coming to the Big Apple, but will now feature Eddie Alvarez against Conor McGregor. Tickets went on sale yesterday for the November 12th showdown at Madison Square Garden. Speaking of big events here in New York, the Orchard Beach Car Show was in town last weekend, and our BronxNet cameras were on hand for the good cause. Check it out.
This is our 16th year, and we normally have over 2,000 cars that come out. And you can see a great array of cars. We have the old timers like myself who are from the 60s and 70s, even some guys from the 50s who are bringing their cars here. And then we have the young people with their rice rockets and the Asian cars. So we have a wide variety of cars. Everything we collect is donated back to the community.
You love cars, you've been doing this year after year. What makes you want to come back year after year?
Oh, it's just a love affair. I mean, look at it. Look at all these cars. They're gorgeous. To us, it's artwork. You know, people put their time and love. My grandson's 4 years old. He actually helps me wipe the car down and clean it.
When we can make someone happy, when we can make someone feel something, we'll have a memory that they can attach to, and then we can come together, you know, in celebration of a charity, of a celebration of, or a memorial of 9/11. That, you know, we can be a part of that. It's humbling, actually.
It's very humbling, you know, to be celebrated that way. But it's very nice, and I'm glad for the influence that our show had on the world,
and that we can keep smiling about it. You know, it's a smile. It's a smile.
And hopefully, people will remember, not our show, not us, but what really they care about, what we really care about, which is each other.
That's a terrific event that has done so much for the families of the victims of 9/11 as well as many others. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list in tribute of Arnold Palmer and Jose Fernandez. It was a difficult day for sports fans. First, there was the news that 24-year-old Miami Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez had died in an early morning boating accident off the shores of Miami. He and 2 other friends died in a tragic crash. Fernandez is expecting a daughter in February. Sunday, we also said goodbye to Arnold Palmer, the champion golfer whose full-bore style, thrilling tournament victories and magnetic personality inspired an American golf boom. He attracted a following known as Arnie's Army and made him one of the most popular athletes in the world. He passed Sunday evening in Pittsburgh at 87. Life is too short, whether it's 87 or 24. Palmer and Fernandez leave their marks in sports. The first Marlins game was canceled after the tragedy, but the team came back and won the next night against the Mets. D. Gordon hit a home run, his first of the season, and rounded the bases in tears. Those legends have a way of reminding us that although they leave us, they are still around us in spirit. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.